with Aloha Authentic.
Hui, aloha mai, and welcome to another episode of Aloha Authentic with Kamakapili, Hawaii's TV show that focuses and shares the art and the practices of our own local practitioners and artisans for you in the comfort of your own home and to hear the mana'o and the kauna or the hidden meanings of their work. Today we have a special episode talking about aloha, but before we go into that, I want to give my little spiel of what's going on the table and what might be taking place throughout the episode. So on our table, if you can see, we get some plates of poke and we get some bowls of poi. You hungry already? Well, me, I am. So what we're going to be doing and what's going to be happening is we might be poo-pooing throughout the whole episode today, but the mana'o and the message behind that is this. Like my tutu always say, when the bowl of poi is open on the dinner table, there is no negativity that is spoken because the energy that you speak, it gets caught and sucked into the poi and it's going to sour. So once it's sour, you know, like idam is no good. So we don't want that on this show. This show and the mana'o and the energy of this show is all about positivity, is about creativity, and is about healing. So that's why we're eating. So kalamai, if there is a little bit of distraction, but go grab your bowl of poi, grab your plate of poke, and come join us. So that being said, we're going to introduce and continue our segment called Did You Know, that is proudly sponsored by the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association. Today's Did You Know is about the noni tree. Noni has 3 parts that are used for medicinal purposes. Did you know that? The root is used for toothaches, the leaf is used for aches, acne, and body wraps, and the fruit is used for ailments dealing with memory, hormones, to even muscle tears. But I gotta give you one warning, that noni can be harmful if it is misused or used inappropriately. With a lot of advertising about noni products that are going on in today's world and the different marketing products that come out, there is a caution, so just be careful, don't overdo yourself with noni, and go talk to a specialist or a la'au practitioner who can share a little bit more about noni, because you don't want to go into something bad when you're trying to heal yourself, so just caution. So from that, mahalo to Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association, and today on our episode, we actually have the Executive Director, Pohai Ryan. Mahalo Pohai, thank you for coming on the show.
Aloha, mahalo, thank you for having me.
Today's show, we're going to be talking about just pretty much the message of aloha and where aloha stands today, because NaHHA, Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association, is doing what they call the Aloha Initiative, and we just want to go into that with Pohai and see what is really Aloha Initiative. So start, Pohai, what is Native Hawaiian Hospitality?
Yes, thank you for asking me that. Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association was created in 1997 when it became a legal nonprofit. But I do need to acknowledge all the people that spent decades building our organization, all the multiple kumu that contributed to the great work that we are able to stand by its credibility. And we appreciate it, and it's long-standing. NaHHA is the name that we are better known by in the visitor industry as well as the greater community. But NaHHA's mission is basically to be the Hawaiian cultural consciousness in the visitor industry. And we're very proud that we have accomplished that in past works as well, and current work, and we're very excited. NaHHA is in a transition of some kind. We are broadening our services and projects so that we can further our mission. We are trying to do more with the community, creative projects, as well as more educational outreach on culture. Our primary service and product is our Aloha Hawaii series, which is a curriculum based on Hawaiian values that is used to train the workforce within the visitor industry, retail sector, food service, and anyone really who's interested. Some of our partners currently are Daughters of Hawaii, Hawaii Tourism Authority, who is our primary funder to our nonprofit, and they contract us to execute work for them as well as the community, and other people such as private corporations that are willing to have us come in and see the value of their employees understanding the importance of aloha in the visitor industry. Aloha to us all is, there's so many things that we can say what aloha is. And thank you for having me, Kamaka. Obviously, your show shows, the title of your show shows everyone how much aloha is important to you as well. And I'm not an expert on aloha. I do want to clarify that I am the administrator of our fabulous program and great nonprofit, but I'm not the cultural practitioner. We work with lots of cultural practitioners throughout the state. Some are certified to teach our ola Hawaiʻi. We call them alakaʻi. And we have varying partnerships with different kumu that have different expertise and mana'o that they bring. And we have very unique requests that come in through internet as well as the phone and by mail sometimes. They can be challenging, but they can be interesting as well. We've in the past year hosted a university from Canada, students from Canada, students from all of the United States studying abroad. So we do a lot of exciting work. University from Okinawa, just sharing our culture and teaching others how to love Hawaii and the people that are here, especially our host culture.
Who are the founders of NaHHA?
The primary founders of NaHHA is Dr. George Kanahele, who is well known for his efforts in bringing the term Hawaiian sense of place to the visitor industry. I recall actually when he was relentlessly out in the community promoting this, his concept of creating NaHHA, and he was everywhere. He had the energy of a 20-year-old, even though he was much older than that. I followed and observed and actually participated in one of the community focus groups that they had at the time when they were creating NaHHA. And I feel very grateful that that is something I can say that I participated in. Our other founder is Kenneth Brown, who is a former state senator and very influential Hawaiian business leader, who also served as the chair of the Queen Emma Foundation for many years and Queen's Medical Center. And he was influential in a lot of other creation of other nonprofits in Hawaii. But both Kenny Brown and Dr. Kanahele, we are very grateful for what their vision was and their efforts to create a long-standing organization. When they did create NaHHA, they had intended that NaHHA be permanent in Hawaii's tourism industry, and that is something that we plan to continue to advocate for.
So you said Dr. Kanahele. It popped in. It's familiar to me because I do know, and I was doing some research on Waikiki, and I know that he created a lot of mo'olelo, or put together a lot of mo'olelo about Waikiki. So that the website that came to my mind was waikikihistoricaltrail.org. And I think it's super cool because since we're talking on the topic of aloha, as a local person, as a Hawaiian person who knows our Hawaiian community, Waikiki is not always the most acceptable place as a Hawaiian. We feel kind of outside. We feel kind of foreign. What I loved about this this website and this whole project of the Waikiki Trail, historical trail, was that Dr. Kanahele pointed out a lot of very important, significant, culturally based information of different locations around Waikiki. So just to share my own little mana'o, and my connection is that by reading this, and I invite everybody to go check out that waikikihistoricaltrail.org. What it's going to do is it's going to show you different locations around Waikiki that shares how important Waikiki was to our Hawaiian ali'i and to our own Hawaiian people. And by reading all of that, it gave me a better and a prideful connection to such a place that I was always disconnected with for such a long time. And there always seems to be a struggle with aloha when it comes to Waikiki. So I just invite everybody out there, check it out, because that might help build your aloha and your pride and your connection to such a foreign place at some time. So just wanted to throw that out because Dr. Kanahele, that's what reminded me. But on that topic of aloha, in your point of view, especially working tightly with the visitor industry, where do you see aloha standing today?
Well, I think the famous quote that I saw on a bumper sticker actually on Kauai, aloha starts with me. It really does. And I think as long as we always remember that aloha starts within ourselves, because aloha is not aloha unless you share it. And the stresses of today's contemporary world can make it very challenging to feel aloha sometimes for others, for your situation. But really, when you think about it, that's even more reason why we need aloha, is because of those reasons. The Aloha initiative that NaHHA has executed was really motivated by the tragic circumstances that happened in Paris last fall during the World Soccer Tournament. And then it was just a series of one thing after the next globally. And really, aloha is one of the special things that Hawaii can share with the world. Every culture has their form of interpretation that is similar to aloha, an essence to a culture that reflects their generational hospitality, graciousness, and really compassion for mankind or your neighbor or people around you. And when we did the sign waving, it wasn't something that I, as the administrator, took lightly. It took me actually 4 months to decide whether that was something we should get out and do. And really, something so small can really bring action to people. Hopefully, when we're out there in the morning, giving people the shaka. At first, when they drive by, they think it's just another campaign sign waving until they read the signs. And then they have big smiles and give us the shaka back, which is all we're really asking for, because we're reminding people, you know, life can get stressful. Try to take time out of your morning to remember aloha is good. Aloha can fill your spirit and really adjust the whole attitude of your whole day going forward, and who you work with, the business you conduct. And collectively, if all of us not practice, but live aloha and remember the specialness of aloha, I think it's just going to make for a better community. And hopefully we can continue to share it with the world, because we do need more aloha in today.
And I know, and it just keeps popping in my head, because when I talk about aloha and with my own work, I always relate back to Auntie Pilahi Paki. And if you don't know who Auntie Pilahi Paki is, I never have the pleasure to meet her. But she was a very really known healer in the sense of the messages that she shared, at least how I know her. And she was one who created different meanings and the acronyms of aloha that a lot of us know today, that in my opinion gives you the ability to understand what aloha really means outside of what the dictionary says. And to go through real fast of what aloha and the different acronyms that she created, it goes like this. The first A is akahai. Akahai, to be graceful. And how I understood it, and I give credit when I share these messages to both Auntie Pilahi Paki and Pono Shim, because I watched a documentary or a recorded convention with him sharing these messages. So I just want to make sure I give that credit out. But when it comes to akahai and being graceful, it's about thinking that you're wearing white gloves so that no matter what you lay your hand on, you're never leaving a mark, and you leave places better when you leave than when you got there. So that gives a bit of deeper understanding of how to be graceful and what aloha in that attribute means. The L in aloha means lokahi. Lokahi meaning to be united. But to take it in a deeper sense, it really means of how are you going to work with everybody. You have this big circle, this big table that everybody's sitting on. And there's that one center point that is evenly in the center of the table, evenly in the center of everybody. How is everybody going to be able to come to the same page to meet that center point? And I think working with everybody, working with a lot of people, that's with like an art within itself, because everybody knows it's hard to work with people when you have your own mentality and the way you want to do something. The O in aloha means olu olu. Olu olu means to be gentle, to be kind, to be comforting, to be comfortable. But take it one step deeper, comfortable or gentle or kind, as in if you're caressing a brand new baby, but you have to be as strong that you won't drop the baby. So in a sense, you have a duality between ku, the energy of strength, and hina, the energy of grace. To me, that's how I seen olu olu. Then you have the H in aloha, which represents ha'aha'a. Ha'aha'a means to be humble. Take it one step deeper. Ha'aha'a in humility really means to be empty. This is how I heard it. Empty, because the way I understood it was with emptiness, there's always a higher respect of whatever comes your way. You always have a much more deeper appreciation for when there is something that starts to fill up that emptiness. And then the last A in aloha is aho nui. Aho nui meaning to be patient. And how I understood it was there's two different types of patience. You have a patient just wondering if something is going to happen, and you have a patient that is waiting for something that you know is going to happen. So in that sense, to me, patience goes parallel and hand in hand with faith, because you can be waiting for 50 years for something to happen, but if you are patient knowing it's going to happen, your faith is what's going to back up the 50 years to keep you in that state of patience, in that state of aloha. So just to throw that out and go, I invite you to do your research on Google and go find out a little bit more. But I do know, and I know that NaHHA has a lot of work when it comes about sharing the Aloha Spirit law. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first I want to acknowledge that's a beautiful interpretation of what you just shared with your viewers as far as Auntie Pilahi Paki's interpretation, the living interpretation of aloha. I think that's the important difference for people to understand, that it's not the traditional language definition, but it really is the embodiment, is what she tried to capture in taking the acronym, using the letters. And Pono is a student of Auntie Pilahi Paki, and he articulates it beautifully as well. I've seen him present it several times. In 1986, the Hawaii State Legislature took the steps to actually create a Spirit of Aloha law, and even our own residents are not aware of this. And I want to invite everyone out there to visit our extensive website that we're quite proud of, and you can view it, or we do have copies of the poster that we do give out for free. You can either email us or call us at our office, and you're more than welcome to come and get the poster. Most people are very proud when they find the poster and see it. But I think the significance, some people think that it was just symbolic. I guess that's one way to look at it. But I recall during that time, I believe Governor John Waihee had just come into office, and he felt it was important. And I remember there was this big push for everyone in Hawaii to really have the word aloha in their daily conversations, their daily dialogue, and even answering the phone. He wanted to encourage everyone, business, schools, the capital, government, everyone to answer the phone with aloha. And when you think about it, when you say aloha, it really changes the tone of when you're talking to someone on the phone, just from using that beautiful word aloha. But the legislature felt it was important enough to remind our community that it's a beautiful thing. Aloha is a beautiful thing that should always, always be part of our life and who we are in Hawaii. No matter how much our population grows or changes, I think everyone can appreciate it if they understand the true meaning of aloha. But more than just understanding, I think living it is important. I remember when my nieces moved away to Texas, the one advice I gave them was, you cannot teach people aloha, you have to be the example of it. That's when they internalize what you mean, what aloha is. And I'm honest, I'll say that it's something that we're constantly working towards being the best aloha person we can be. It's not always easy, we all know that. And we're only human, but the fact that you're conscious of it and trying to do it, I think, is far more important than just understanding the meaning. It's really living aloha.
Mm-hmm. I just recently heard somebody say, they talked about aloha aina or malama aina. And they were saying that, so aloha aina means to love the land, malama aina means to care for the land. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it more, what he was getting at was, you cannot aloha aina until you aloha yourself. Yes. So aina technically is yourself. Malama meaning you have to care for not just the physicality, but the spirituality, the emotions, the mentality, and all that encompasses who you really are. And to aloha somebody else really is just the extension of how you're
Yes.
alohaing yourself.
Yes.
You agree with that?
Yeah, that's
okay.
absolutely true
making sure.
because, no, it is. It's absolutely true because even with today, everyone urges people to malama aina, aloha aina, which is absolutely what we all should be doing as much to our capability as possible. But we cannot forget that we have to malama each other as well and ourselves. You have to malama people. It's all works in synergy, and I think that's what our culture, that's who we are, that's what we are, coming from the Aina. We cannot separate the two. And I think that's where a lot of people try to find that balance in modern Hawaii, whether it's in tourism or development, government. It'll never change. It'll always be a challenge. The world doesn't get smaller, it gets bigger. Our living space might get smaller, but the world doesn't. And someone asked me recently, in the past year, I worked with a colleague on a conference, and she asked me, so what are you trying to accomplish with NaHHA as the administrator of Pohai? And I said, well, I think that NaHHA's primary role in the visitor industry is to teach the world to love Hawaii and love Hawaiians. Love who we are, our culture, the uniqueness of who we are on this earth in the spectrum of the global community. And I think everything else will come naturally. The appreciation for the multicultures that came to be, for who we are today, will naturally come. I think once people find a deep appreciation for the host culture here, and we as well appreciate those who come to visit and enjoy our islands. You know, I think sometimes people forget that we should show and treat people who visit our islands the way we would want to be treated when we travel. And that should be with graciousness. Leave that impression of love, just like what you said, Kamaka. Leave the person better than when they first met you. And I think that you also touched upon what is the jewels of Waikiki. I think if people took the time to learn more about the history of Waikiki, it's quite beautiful. There's a reason why our ali'i all spent a lot of time there. There's a lot of rich history there, and I think the Waikiki markers are a fabulous way to spend a day with your family. It costs nothing. You can even catch the bus there if you want to, and there's so many markers. It's a lot of walking, actually. You could spend more than a day doing it. But I think
excursion and workout.
Yeah. And it's something very worthwhile and very unique and gratifying as well. But I hope that everyone will see the importance of aloha. And it's really nice to see all types of people waving back at us when we're sign waving. And that matters a lot to me. That means that people understand and remember, oh yeah, we have to remember, do you have aloha today to share? I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah. So I know we mentioned in the past that aloha was a gift that we shared the world. So in the couple minutes that we have left, in your opinion, what are some other gifts that Hawaii has graciously shared with the world?
Yes, most kumu have their own interpretation. NaHHA has chosen 5 things that we feel are important that Hawaii has shared and given to the world besides aloha. It would be our wayfinding canoe paddling, which we know is a form of bringing common understanding throughout the world. Also, mele, hula, and olelo, and spirituality, malama aina, and caring for the earth, malama honua, as well as surfing. A lot of people forget, yes, that great sport we all enjoy and like to watch in the big eddy. Yeah, that's something that Hawaii has given the world as well. our ali'i used to do it in ancient times. Princess Kaiulani. I didn't realize that till not too long ago that she was an avid surfer, which is very cool in today's terms. But yes, and it's not just that. As much as some of these things are commercialized today, it's knowing that it's part of who we are and that it's an extension of us globally, whether it's in Brazil or even Russia. Hula is everywhere now. Hula helps to promote and perpetuate our language as well through the mele, the dance, the oli. So that's very important.
What would be your message you want to leave with our audience about aloha?
Wow, first of all, if you see us out there sign waving, please sign wave back with a big smile. Just to remember, aloha starts with us. It starts within ourselves, and it's something beautiful to share that we should want to share with the world. And as stressful as life can be, sometimes the kids can be challenging on your patience. But take a step back and see the bright side of it, things that are going on around you. Life has its ups and downs, but aloha can really change your attitude and the way you respond. I think the common term everybody uses today is, what is your aloha response to that, Pohai? So that's a good way to keep things in check as well.
Mahalo. Mahalo to Native Hawaiian Hospitality for being a part of today's show. I also want to give a big mahalo to Kumu Krista Steinfeld to sharing the ike of our Did You Know segment today as well about the noni. And to take it one step further of her lineage, she comes from Kumu Levan Ohai, who was a la'au kahuna on the island of Kauai. So just to give credit to them. We want to give a big thanks to Hawaii Culture and Retail Association for sponsoring the show and allowing it to be on the air so we can share all this mana'o and ike with you. If you want to catch up on any past episodes, which I highly recommend you do, go to kamakapili.com or go to our Facebook page at Aloha Authentic. If you have any questions or if you have anybody that you would love to hear their mana'o and to come onto the show, please, by all means, email me at kamaka@islandconnection.com and we can work to get that happen. Again, our show airs the first Monday of every month at 6 o'clock p.m. on Olelo Channel 53. So until next month, we just want to give a big mahalo and aloha to you, and a hui hou. See you next month. Aloha.
The spirit of aloha through the arts with aloha.